People who posted their story on Reddit and the person in said story found it. How did it go? I once posted on /r/games about how I worked for a game company on a localization and how I wasn't paid fully. I went into great detail about what I exactly worked on and which company it was, smaller indie company. My post got taken down for some bullshit reason after a few hours, and coincidentally I was contacted by the company through Skype on the same day after not hearing from them for quite a while, and got my full pay. I gave them information about my colleague who also didn't get his full pay, and he got paid fully too. Which was good money for him since he lives in Poland. Edit. Since this unexpectedly blew up, I wanted to clarify that I am not saying that the company got the post pulled from Reddit. There is zero evidence for them being involved in that. I asked them personally about the payment before posting anything online and even waited for quite a while. I wasn't even expecting the remaining payment since a few months had already passed. It just suddenly came as a nice surprise. My sister posted about her abusive ex and he saw it, but the thing is it wasn't trending, so the only way he could see it was if he went to her profile and found it. Then instead of sorting it out himself, he had his mother call her and ask her to stop embarrassing her poor boy. A few years ago I made a comment on a post about families on the day before Thanksgiving where I mentioned that one of my cousins stabbed his mother to death. My son, whose screen name I didn't know, replied, "Tell them about the cousin who killed a prostitute." A stranger popped in and asked, "How many of your family are here?" To which my son replied, "I dunno, we'll find out tomorrow at Thanksgiving." Not exactly a story, but I posted a picture of a cat from my college campus. Someone from the same college identified the cat. We met a week later, and became really good friends. I was giving someone anonymous career advice on Reddit, and the corporate office of company that I worked DM'd me and basically told me to stop. They saw my post and basically internet stalked me until they figured out who I was. They said they knew my identity in their DM. It was a super 1984 moment for me. It received a very positive reaction from the person being described in the account. The post concerned a homeless man that I helped get a job and a new beginning on life. Every detail matched, so he figured out the rest from there and was glad that his story might give some degree of hope to others. Told a story about a guy I knew in high school that I hadn't spoken to in a few years. He saw it, reached out to me, we talked about how we were mutually attracted to each other in high school. He was broken up with his long-term girlfriend, so we hooked up once and then he went back to her toxic crap again. Oh well, I got to scratch that itch. He still has my copy of a book that a friend of mine put a handwritten note on the front page of, though. I've offered to send him a new copy of his choosing and pay for shipping if he'll send it back, but he ghosted me. Maybe he'll see this post too and send me good omens? I once posted a story about me being exceptionally bad at basketball when I was a child, 15 years earlier, and someone commented with a link, saying, "Was this you?" The link went to the same story told from the perspective of someone else on my team. He posted it an hour before I did. This was also the second time I ever smoked weed, so my mind was just shattered. Edit. So the story was that while I was in the bathroom, one of the coaches said to the rest of my team, "If that kid makes a basket, we're all going out for ice cream." I didn't know that part, obviously. So a guy passed me the ball and I so surprised, I shot it immediately, and it was a swish. But it was the wrong basket. All the kids on my team turned to the coach and were like, "Does that count?" He thought about it and then said no. Edit. Quarantine has made you people very dick hungry. Edit. Just remembered, it was a 3-pointer, too. Vented about a friend. Said friend had apparently been snooping my Reddit account. She has a long history of going through people's devices to snoop and find info. I hadn't given her my Reddit account. She decided based on that post to ghost me. I reached out a couple times and then she blew up at me and said all kinds of awful things. But honestly, good riddance. She used to tell me about snooping on her husband and other people. That stuff always made me uncomfortable. But I tried to be supportive because we'd been friends for so long and she always had some kind of justification. But she has always been surrounded by drama and conflict and we had had a falling out before. I should have known it would come around to me again. I had another throwaway account where I posted stories about my mill. One weekend when visiting her she started repeating things almost verbatim from the comments and stories. I think it was just a power play to let me know she had found the stories. I played it cool, pretended I didn't recognize anything she was saying and then promptly deleted the account, started a new one and changed the, easily guessable if you know me, password on my phone. It didn't make her stop her shitty behavior. But now that she knows I am onto her manipulation tactics she tries to be sneakier about them and work harder to get my husband on her side. Shoulder shrug. Nothing special. Worked at a lab that got some national press. A coworker commented they worked on it. I chimed in, that O2 worked on it. They are the only coworker that knows much main account name. Very badly. So in high school, one of my teachers came on Halloween dressed up as Dipper from Gravity Falls and I posted a pic of it on the show's subreddit. I'd cow, but BuzzFeed found it and stole my photo for one of their articles about cool teachers. He thought it was cool and wanted to find who posted it so he could thank them for making him viral. BuzzFeed did link my Reddit account, so he found it pretty fast. He also found all my posts about how I was depressed and hated my body. Oh, and a suggestive cosplay pic of myself in a bikini. I was 18, don't worry. He actually ended up talking to me about the whole depression thing, which was nice, but imagine walking into a high school class and hearing the phrase "you/Capaldi's. I went through her Reddit account and want to talk to you about it. He loved that I posted the story. It was about how I grabbed his ass to make his crazy girlfriend jealous. I'm a guy and also had a girlfriend at the time. Found my ex's profile. He wrote about sorting out feelings with a friend, not me, that he always liked. They always had a Ross/Rachel quality to them, but reading his posts made so much sense. I reconnected with an old friend of mine because he found a story I told about him. Years ago I told this story involving my friend Andy from college. Later on that day I get a PM saying, "Hey, it's Andy from your story." I knew right away it was him because he called me by a nickname that only he called me. It was cool hearing from him because we hadn't talked in years and we ended up reconnecting. Now we're good friends again, and it all happened because he stumbled on a comment I wrote about him. Edit. Here is a screenshot of a conversation Andy and I had when I talked about this on another post a while back as some sort of proof. Years ago on a different account I shared a story about this dude overreacting to my BFF telling him she wasn't interested. Me, being young and foolish, had a username that I used everywhere else. He found the story, recognized the name and showed up in my DMs. He was not happy. I deleted my account and made a new one straight after with a brand new name I had never used before. A few years later my BFF's boyfriend at the time found a story I had posted about a D&D campaign we were both in. I had to delete that account, too skeptical. I've not had good luck with this. Not my post, but still a good story. I saw a trending post on some relationship sub about a guy whose stepfather was abusing his sister. I didn't give it much attention at the time. The story went on and on until the abuser got arrested or something, because some random guy called the cops on him or something. Weird story. Long story short, Op was my younger brother's internet friend from the other side of the world, and it was my brother who somehow managed to anonymously get the guy arrested. Can anything make you prouder than your siblings getting a Florida man arrested? A bit indirect, but outcome was life-changing. I made a post about dating a coworker, now current partner, on a forum for step-parents. He has a child, I do not. Then, a few months later I posted on r/Emmethy asshole about something unrelated and the post blew up. My other coworker found the Ida post, and the post about dating a guy with a son, and told my partner and my boss. My partner was okay with it, although mildly upset that I didn't bring my concerns to him originally, but my boss told me that while dating a coworker wasn't prohibited or wrong, but it would negatively impact my career. My partner was told congratulations, and got a promotion shortly after. I was demoted. It did negatively impact my career. Thanks, Dan, and Sean. Y'all suck. My partner and I both quit a few months later. Not exactly me and kinda opposite, but I broke up with my boyfriend after I finally stopped ignoring my feelings that there was a reason my boyfriend was emotionally unavailable. I saw his deleted Reddit post a week after asking relationship advice if he should text his ex from 3 years ago because he just realized he'll never love someone the way he did her. That was pretty fucked up to read but also relieving. But you know what they say, don't go looking for things you don't want to find. Edit. Words. Well, I posted a homework question to an obscure subreddit. The only reply was a link to my class course page. That one as well as expected. Yeah lol, so I posted in a support forum about my extremely toxic and abusive friend and how to get her to leave me alone. I had cut ties by this point, but she kept making new accounts to talk to me. She also often threatened suicide as a way to manipulate me into staying as her friend, so I had some guilt over that. I didn't even know she had a Reddit account. Anyway, she blew up and apparently went to the police over this, because she said I doxed her. What really happened was I said in the post that she lived in the UK and I lived in the US. That's it. Just mentioned the countries we live in. Unsurprisingly, the police in the UK told her to fuck off. She also stalked my account for months after that event. Fucking creepy. Got a new account, haven't heard from her since. She probably has a new victim by now. Edit. Y'all, if she find my new account because of you guys upvoting this, I'm gonna scream. I posted a story about a smear and terror campaign against a reporter by the Church of Scientology in r/Today I Learned. The reporter in said case saw the post and responded talking more about it, giving some great insight into the ordeal. The Church of Scientology saw it too, I bet, but have yet to respond. And hashtag X200B. Edit. Link. Nothing crazy, but someone posted in r/awe about a cat that walked with them to the bus stop. I go through the comments and saw someone else was talking about their pet cat and how she would walk her little sister to the bus stop. I was going to share a similar story that I grew up with a cat too that would walk me the school bus. Then I looked at the username and noticed it was my sister's nickname. We just had some good laughs about the odds of finding each other. Edit, here's the post. I found a girl from my school mentioned my real name and said she would want me to bathe her in cum. Utter freakout. I have many stories, but the one I tell the most is the story of how I became a paraplegic. I won't retell it here because it is sort of lengthy and kind of gut-wrenching. Needless to say, I wasn't always handicapped. It was a vehicular accident. Turns out the guy that hit me uses Reddit. He's a cross-country semi-truck driver who I assume is now swamped with work, thanks to the coronavirus. We kept in contact after my accident. He would check in on me at the hospital for the long stay I had and would regularly call me after I finally returned home. Somehow he must have lost his phone or broke it without syncing contacts through Google, because when I called him on Thanksgiving last year it went to a different person who had no clue who I was. I felt bad because we had kind of become pen pals over the years. Well, I told my story on some subreddit a while ago. More of a watered down version, but essentially my story. I was direct messaged by someone here asking if I lived in such and such town, had a wife named wife's name, and if my name was Dudemo. Whoever it was had all that info, and I'm a pretty private person. Not even my wife knows my Reddit username, but she doesn't use Reddit. So I responded with, "Who is this?" I got a response back that made me grin from ear to ear because it's an inside joke between us. It said, "Tag, you're it. Call me sometime. 3034x. I got my old pal back because I put my story up on Reddit. Edit, stop being shy, Tony. If you can text me that you saw this, you can at least say hi to everyone. Second edit, Tony won't say hi because he sucks. That's right, Tony, you suck. Told you I did. Picture it. I hope this post blows up. Luckily never happened to me, but I saw a post written by a 13-year-old about the guy she likes. She said that's her best friend's boyfriend. Few hours later her best friend commented saying, "I'm your ex-friend now." Awkward. My crush / best friend / kind of unofficial boyfriend. I'm still confused about what exactly we are at this point. Found my post on r/mom4aminute where I talked about how I was uncertain if I wanted a relationship with him or if I should break if off for various reasons. I had completely forgotten how he knew about my Reddit and how he would check my posts sometimes. He confronted me about it but was super sweet and understanding about it. He said he was glad he knew about how I felt and it actually got us closer together in the end. Peace. If you find this too, hi Jack, you're the best. Tilda. Edit, I see a lot of people making assumptions and judgments about us, but please, you don't know the situation, so don't jump to conclusions too quickly. How we handle things and figure things out is our own business. Thank you. 3. I had made an entitled parent post and the EP's son found it and showed it to his mommy. She then came knocking on my door, asking me to take it down. My Reddit username was my Earl name. I told her that I couldn't do that and she threatened to report me to police for putting her in something she did give consent to. I told her it didn't matter because no real names or location were mentioned. She stormed off in a hurry. I never to this day have dealt with her again. It was not great, but not terrible. Posted in r/relationship advice maybe a year ago about how I'd been out of town and let my little sister house sit. Upon returning it was extremely evident that she had sex with someone in my bed while I was away. Just nasty stuff. I arrived home late at night to disgusting sheets and my bed pulled back from the wall. Not great. Well, I sent her some texts to express my dissatisfaction, so she promptly freaked out and also posted to Reddit. Some people connected the two, and theorized that she posted hoping I'd see it and take pity, which I too believe. Downside is that we know each other's account names now. Upside is that we got through it. Not terrible. A little more than a year ago I've posted about a girl that I started dating, and due to sheer luck she found my post. I've never been happier in my life and we're engaged now. This was a classic. On a different account I posted about some relationship troubles I was having during my first few years of college. Basically my girlfriend had moved down to California to go to hers and I stayed where I was to go to mine. Being fairly used to sleeping in the same bed we used to fall asleep over Skype next to each other. But around second quarter I had woken up to her masturbating while taking pictures, what turned out to be video, to someone, with Skype still on. I asked for help. Most people were creeped out by the sleeping over Skype thing. It was very unhelpful. Turns out she didn't see it. One of the people she was recording for did. Turns out she was cam girling for spending cash. He showed her profile and everything and yeah, it was her. She used to do this cuckolding him thing for them talking about me. So apparently the stories were creepily similar. And he told her his next paid session with her and she came to talk to me. We managed another quarter with me feeling that out, but I just couldn't. I don't share well. Dude was bro as fuck though. Not on Reddit but on Wattpad. I posted a comment on some random story that was talking about depression, and I put a comment about my own experience with depression and cutting. My friend apparently followed, read the same book as I did, and decided to reply to me. Friend, do you have depression and cut yourself? Me, no. Said friend liked to share gossip to everyone else. Friend, well, I can totally relate cause I cut myself before too, remember. You can talk to me. Problem is this friend always lied about everything to get attention. You did something? Guess what, they did it better. Yeah. That kind of person. Well, the cut they did was very obviously a little scratch from a nail done by accident, and friend flaunted this cut saying they had depression. I'm not friends with them anymore. I write erotica for a living, and I've told a variation on this story a couple of times. A very polite guy who wanted me to write a commission piece about him being sounded by a Hot Wheels car. I don't recommend Googling it if you don't know what it is. Basically, he wanted a story about a small car stretching his dick hole, and then about the tiny little wing mirrors ripping it apart as it came out again. It's usually a popular story in threads about the weirdest sexual request you've ever got. After posting it one time, someone sent me a PM telling me that the offer was still open if I wanted to take it. I think it was a joke, but the username in question had a couple of things in common with the email address that was used to try and commission in the first place, so it may very well have been the same person. Not enough that I couldn't put it down to coincidence, but still enough to give me pause. It's happened a couple of times where people are obviously joking, but that's the only one that made me think it was legit. Either way, I still didn't take the job. I posted about a smelly neckbeard ex that tried to keep all my things when we broke up, and how I had to escape with my things when he finally went to sleep after 3 days of non-stop gaming. He sent me some messages asking if I posted that and why I would say that. I didn't answer him, logged out of the account, and kept on keeping on. Keith, if you see this, you never brushed your teeth or showered. We never had sex because your dick was fucking nasty. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for the way you treated your mom and sister. Get your shit together, dude. So this is sort of related but a little backwards. This guy I was with for a year or so went back to being a good little Mormon right after the relationship and married a good little Mormon girl less than a year later, in the temple no less. When we were together he was very, very into sex and BDSM. Like, everyday kind of thing. Her username is the same name she uses in all her public stuff, so when I ran across it I recognized it and snooped. And found multiple posts about her husband's lack of interest in sex. I was mildly tempted to say something but I didn't. Not me, but some woman posted on a myth asshole shitting on her sister because her sister had a kid and couldn't come to her housewarming party. Op wanted her to get a babysitter. Sister wouldn't go for it. BC kiddo had separation anxiety and night terrors. Sister was a single mom and working 3 jobs to make ends meet, IIRC, and naturally wanted to spend time with kiddo in between. Op's post was reeking of jealousy of her niece, and she apparently dropped some "your damn kid" line on her sister in an argument. The sister found the post, told her she was the asshole, and told her not to contact her again in the comments. It was amazing. I commented on an Ask Reddit post about the most fucked up thing you ever walked in on. I was really late to the party and didn't think anyone would see my comment about a wild thing I walked in on during a house party my roommates and I threw. I was happy when the post started getting attention. Then it started getting thousands of upvotes. My friend who was my roommate at the time of the story asked in a group chat, my old roommates are all in, are any of you booed boy on Reddit? They quickly figured out it was me based on my Reddit history. The result was I had to panic delete all my porn-free posts out of embarrassment. Now all my friends know my Reddit account. I find it very freeing as I used to keep it private, but I just don't care anymore. That comment ended up being my highest ever with like 12k upvotes. I still don't get why it got so many, especially since I was so late to post. It wasn't even that fucked up of an event, but I guess it was pretty fucked up to walk in on, so maybe it was the perfect comment.